Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Today we are going to discuss the probability. So what is the probability? So the question is, what is the probability? So probability is how likely something is to happen. Since we know many events can't be predicted with the total certainty, whether they are going to happen or not, we are not sure. So the best way we can say is how likely they are going to happen or not by using the idea of probability. Let's say if we have a coin and we are going to toss a coin, we are not sure whether we are going to get, because since for coin we can get whether heads, we are going to get a head or tail. But since it has two faces, so how many possible ways we can get whether we are going to get head or we are going to get a tail. So what is the probability of getting a head is 1, and probability of getting of tail is 1, but out of how many events? Since it's head or tail, so there are two possibilities. So out of 1 out of 2 we are gonna get head, and 1 out of 2 we are going to get a tail. So since this is a 50% chance to get a head or to get a tail. So let's see if we have a dice, and since we are going to have like six sided dice, so the possible outcomes can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we are not sure any of any one of these can be happen. So for example, if we are going to say if we are going to have 3 when we roll a dice and we are going to have 3, so what is the probability of having a 3? So since you know how many times there is a 3, it's only one time. And what is the how many are the total number of outcomes, which are 6. So the probability of having a 3 is 1 out of 6. Similarly, we can say for some other number. So for example, for probability of getting a 6, so again it will be 1 out of 6. So we can show a probability in a probability line. So if we know something is not going to happen 100% sure for that, so that is the impossible event. And then if we have an idea of something, like for example we are having a dice and we are going to get a 1 out of it, so the probability is 1 out of 6, which is more closer to 0. So we are going to say this event is unlikely. And then, as we took an example of coin, if we have a head and tail, so we are sure whether it's a head or tail, at least one of the event will occur. So at that time we are going to say this is an even chance, mean there is a 50% of probability. Then if something is more closer to one whole, we know the event is going to happen, the chances are very high, so at that time we are going to say it's likely. And if we are 100% sure some event is going to happen, so for that event we are going to say this event is certain. So as we know, probability is always between 0 to 1. So probability can be written in the form of fractions, percentages, or decimal. Let's say for example this is 0%, 100%, 50%, or 0, 0.5, 1 whole, or 0, 1 half, again 1 whole. So in that way we can write a fractions we can write probabilities in any one of the form, and all of these possible ways, or the way we can write the probability, that could be considered as a correct answer. So if we define the probability, so probability of an event happening, so if we define that, so the definition could be the number of ways it can happen divided by the total number of outcomes. As for example, again, if we take the example of coin, so since we know there are two possibilities, whether it's a head or tail, so the probability of, let's say, having a head is, number of ways it can happen is 1, and the total number of outcomes are 2. Okay, here is another example. There are 5 marbles in a bag and 4 are blue and one of them is red. So what is the probability that the blue marbles get picked? So since you know blue marbles are 4 and red marbles are 1. So how many total marbles are there? So we know the total outcomes are 4. So the probability of having a blue marble is what? Number of ways we can get that is 4 out of the total outcomes, so which is 4 over 5. Let's have a look on another example. The probability that City will win its next football match is 0.65, and the probability City will draw is 0.2. Work out the probability that City will win. City will not win. Okay, so since you know the probability is always equal to 1 whole, mean 100%. So if we are looking for the probability of not win, so probability of not winning, since we know the probability of winning is, probability of win is 0.65. So the probability of not win will be what? Or if we write in another way, so probability of win plus probability of not win is equal to 1 whole. So the meaning of this, 1 minus 0.65, that will give us probability of not win, and which is equal to 0.35. Now another question is, find the probability that the City will win or draw. So we know the probability of win whenever there is or, so the meaning of this, we need to add them together. So probability of win is how much? 0.65 plus probability of draw is 0.2. So our answer will be 0.85. Now another question is, work out the probability that City will lose. Okay, so if you imagine this, the whole football match, so there are 3 cases actually. So the probability will win, probability will draw, or probability will lose. This must be equal to 1 whole. Since you already know probability of win and probability of draw is 0.85, so that's mean probability of lose is how much? 1 minus 0.85, so this is equal to 0.15. So in this way we can find the probabilities. So hope you liked the session. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.